Okay, we'll continue with where we are up to in Hilchos Bishul. We are up to the middle of the things which we are allowed, which makes it Bishul Yisrael. I just want to clarify one thing. There's a couple of people asked me after the last shiur, I should clarify what is the difference between kitur, which is steaming, and smoking. I saw people went away not clear, and afterwards the shiur, some people asked me to clarify. I just want to clarify this thing, how the Achronim explain it. We have a machloikes of Achronim, if toldos bishul, toldos aish, is osir ba bishul akim. That's a machloikes, a general machloikes. The Levisha Motche, the famous Levisha Motche, the Motche Leib Winkler, the Shemariai, the Marsham, in Rav Osner, the Mechzeliui, all of them hold that Toldos Aish is Aish. Toldos Aish is Aish, and therefore it's do Bishul Akim of them. As I mentioned last time, the Mechzeliui brings down, there's a clear Ran, which the Ran writes in Mesechtes Avodah Zarah, as Toldos Aish is the Bishul Akim. So that's a general thing. And this is how we pass them. Although there are some poskim which say Toldos Aish Bechlal, as I mentioned last week, the Zayir Zuav of the Isav Heter, he wants to say that Toldos Aish Bechlal, there's no Bishul Akim. The Shoyel Shemari also wants to say that. The Bechlal, clueless die gesagt. Anything which is not Aish Mamash, it's Toldos Aish, so therefore it's not Bishul Akim. The Achronim do not go with this thing, and we hold Toldos Aish is Aish. According to the Zayir Zuav, steaming, Bechlal, but there's not a problem, because it's only Toldos Aish, but according to the other poskim, steaming is a problem. Fine. Now the question is not, why is smoking yet? Smoking Zuk the Machaber clearly, smoking is not a problem. What's the difference? If you say Toldos Aish, there's Bishul Akim, why is smoking any better than steaming? That was the Nekida. And the answer to this is like this. When I think this Toldos Aish is Aish is the Bishul Akim. But that's only when it was cooked, it was made, it was prepared for food by Toldos Aish. So then we go into the machloikas, we pass the Toldos Aish is Aish. But when it comes to steam, Ma'ishan, two things make the food, it should be prepared good to eat. The steam, the hot, the eitzem zach as the fire, this Toldos Aish. And if this alone would be a problem. But since together with this, there is also that the smoke itself prepares it to the food. That means we have two things which is, so to speak. We have two things which make that it should be prepared. One thing is the heat, which mitzad days we will pass against a problem. The second thing is the smoke itself machtas, it should be ready to food. And not a svura, is do a svura with the Machzeliui bringt, is in taste. A thing which is kitter, that's the taste of cooking. When it comes to smoking, this is shenoch a shlav. The taste, so the other taste. Cooking and smoking is not the same taste. So although it's a nemtzich mitzad aish, Toldos aish, but zwei Sachen. Eins, there is another goyim which makes it. That means there is another goyim which makes it should be able to edible is the smoke. But noise, it doesn't have the taste of the smoke. So it doesn't have, it's not regular like Jewish. So therefore, in such a case, is given. Ich hoffe, man versteht, was ich so. Du, ich habe immer ein bisschen andere Äußerungen wie vorige Woche, weil it's a little bit more clear. In other words, by kitter, it's very important because again, we are machma by kitter, so there where I want to make it clear. Ishin is mitter because there is a sehr goyrem, but kitter is only Toldos Aish, and Toldos Aish we are machma. That was just wanted to clarify a sach which we spoke before. Okay, now we were up to the middle of what is the things which makes it as a ziyaz ambassador. What Toldos Aish is steam. Oh, this is what somebody brought up letzte Woche. Sie ist geht dran so wie in der Shabbos, als heißt, es nicht Toldos Chama, Leuke Chama, kann du sagen, mein Mitter. Kann du sagen, das heißt, das ist ein Mitter. as we see in the Shabbos. Now, last week we started, and I just want to now elaborate a little bit more on this Nekida. What makes a thing, it should be Bishul Yisroel? So I mentioned there's a machlokes of the Mechaber and Remu. The Mechaber is very machmer, and the Remu is very mighty. The Mechaber says, I'm just going to go over the Kulam again in short, and then go in a little bit in Prutische Metzias. The Mechaber says that if again, let me not make Akdoma. By us, when we cook, usually we put a pot on the gas range and put on the fire. Yeah, but that's not the way how they used to cook once upon a time. Once upon a time, they used to cook in an oven. So what did you do? You used to put on the fire, and then you put in the pot. That's the way how you do it by baking. By baking usually goes like that. You put on the oven, then you put it. So the Mechaber talks in that way that they used to cook then. So the Mechaber, if a person put on the fire, if a Yid put on the fire, and the Goy put the pot into the oven, or on the stove when the fire is on already, Zug the Mechaber, that's not considered Bishul Yisroel. Why? Because although he put on the fire, who made the Bishul Be'etzav? The guy who put it on the pot. Now, forget, in the way what we do it, for instance, in our time, on a stovetop, when usually you put on the pot, and you put on the fire afterwards, Kemiv the Mechaber, that's enough. Because if Mechaber says you have to put on the pot, it's not enough putting on the fire, you have to put on the pot, that makes the Bishul. So in our time, if a Yid puts on the pot on the gas range, and you put on afterwards the stove top, is a Mechaber Maskema Nishtoig. Fakir, in such a case, the Mechaber Maskema is Remu, that putting on the fire is good. Because who made Ikir the Bishul? The guy who put on the fire. Ich will es noch clear machen, weil Mechaber get azug, the Mechaber says, a Yid puts on the fire and the Goy puts on the pot, it's not good. Why is it not good? Because putting on the pot, that's the main Indian of Bishul. So when they take it in our times, when usually in a stovetop, they usually put on the pot on the fire beforehand, and then after it's put on the fire, Kemivan the Mechaber Maskmazan, as when a Goy put on the pot and a Yid put on the fire, that should be fine. This is fine. Zug the Mechaber, it has to be, the main Bishul has to be by Yisroel. By Pas, we say that it's enough putting on the fire, or the Shteitchen of them, the Chilik, the Terezuv the Chilik, because by Pas is, how do you bake Pas? How do you bake bread? You put on the fire, then you have to clean out the whole oven, because if not the whole bread will burn. So, by taking out the whole, when the Goy puts on the fire, and the Yid, when the Yid puts on the fire, is about puts on the fire, and darf machen a ganze Peile, is do a Hecker. Masha einken aber b'shas when we're doing it, cooking, how did they cook in that time? You had all the gechulam, you had all the fire, and you put in the pot inside. Hast du nicht kein Hecker, was man do gemacht, so therefore the Mechaber, if the Yid put on the fire, it doesn't help to make the Goy puts on the pot, it's not enough. But bread it will help, because when the Yid, it's nicht nur the Goy trang like in the oven. Gemacht the ganze Bishul gemacht.
What happened to him with gas?
What? Oh, by us, by gas, is lo the Mechaber, is who does the last thing. If the Goy puts on the pot and the Yid puts on the fire, avada Mechaber as it. If you put on the fire first, and the Goy puts on the pot, that can nicht gehen. But that's as we are telling. Fine. Is this how the Mechaber? A Yid has to do the Ikr Bishul. The Remu, hype to mit killers. First thing is, no. Putting on the fire, once you put on the fire, it's enough. Then he goes, not even if you put on the fire, even if the Goy put on the fire, and the Goy put it in the oven, or on the stovetop, if just the Yid stirred the pot, that's enough too. It's auch enough. Maigus is enough. B'shas when we kocht es. Wir bald sehen, später wir bald sehen. B'shas when we kocht es, it's enough also. The Remu guides water, the Schach bringt es, Schach guides water, that even at the Goy, the Yid Maiges gewinnt, Schleuber Kavuna, Yid Maiges and Schleuber Kavuna, auch fine. Then comes the Tirzuov, and it brings the Darke Moshe. The Darke Moshe says, even if you blow on the fire, that means you make big enough, in our language, you turn the knob, you made the fire, is auch geht. Comes the Shach, and it says, not even that, even he's throwing in a kissim. He brings, you're throwing in a match, that should be enough. One match you put in, macht es a bisschen Yisroel. Then comes the Remu, and goes even a bigger killer. If you put on the fire from other Yid, that's also fine. So how many Remu bring up a bunch killers?
He said if a goy takes from a fire from a Yid,
there's a candle which a Yid put on, and the goy takes fire from that, even that is good. Yeah. Man bald sich mir mehr Brute mit der Sache. Fine. Also is what?
like a pilot.
A pilot, yeah, I guess, yeah, like a pilot. Exactly. Yeah. Kim the Terezuov, and the Terezuov says like this. The Remu has a lot of killers. I am ready to rely on the Remu only b'beit Yisrael. Since b'beit Yisrael, in the house of a Yid, is do a Rabbeinu Avrom, which the Tur brings down, that b'beit Yisrael is much more easier. Dort nicht ein Problem für Bishlakim. And the Svur davon is, was ich gemacht nicht du am Svura, als man soll nicht etwas tun, etwas stören der Part. B'beit Yisrael, she's a part of the household, she's cooking. A Yid guide, sagt, dass mischt sich, give a stir, b'meile. The guy, yeah, fine. But the Rabbeinu Avrom got me the kid. But although we don't pass like Rabbeinu Avrom, I could take it, but by Yisrael, then we could rely on the Remu Satayrim. The Chachmasudim sucht Mikra Din, halt ma vir Machaber, the Chimra, but since we have no choice, it's very hard, so we have to rely on the Remu. Kili much kambraire, after rely on the Remu. But Lamasa, the Pri Megudim writes clearly that we are relying lekitchila on the Remu. We are relying lekitchila on the Remu. That means if the goy put on the fire and Yid put on the pot, if the goy put on the fire, once the Yid put on the fire, habach nish kapraber, it's kemen sich verlassen of the Remu lekitchila. And this is how in Spaskla. Das steht durch die Schilche Rochet, und das ist der Mechab, Remu allein, wir keine Hagen. Es ist bei Idea klar, you can see in the Remu, sometimes the Mechaber, the Remu says V'chain Hagen, sometimes it says Buchen Hoig, sometimes it says, do 3, 4 Lashoinus, the post can go again, what is, when, what does it mean? This, Buchen Hoig means you should do like that. V'chain Hagen means that's the minute. So the Masa, again, in Ashkenazim, going according to the Remu, that if the Yid puts on the fire, and the Goy cooks the whole day, everything is fine. And that's like a tchila. But, the second 2 killers, which is that throwing in a match, and a Yid a Goy should put on fire from other Yid, Zug the Urech HaShilchen, that's a big killer. That's to a big killer, and you could rely on it only b'shas chak. That's too much, only b'shas chak. And as I do the Chach Masudam. And as I do the Shayvet Alai, we pass it as well. And even an Afon Akisam, I'm not ready to go that far, and ich feel as it does a befrad that there is the whole Remu, we only rely on b'beit Yisrael, so therefore, so you want to go even more, that saying anything you're throwing in a match is Angit, b'meile, is du asach achroinim, is man zug, mit kinzich is verlassen auf dem, kim even mit der Ewe, dat man sich verlassen, let's make it clear, mit der Ewe hat man sich verlassen, aber nicht, ja, aber nicht alle Killers haben Remu. Die spätige Chroinem haben sich Mistaye gewöhnt für gewisse Sachen. Nochmal, vergesst du, musst du mit Kiesem oder Maish, sucht der Remu Yesh Omrem. Sucht nicht keine Hagen. But the vorige Aluche sucht keine Hagen. And that's why we rely on the Trille. Aber hier sucht nicht keine Hagen. Du sucht Yesh Omrem. Meile. So Lamasa, to make it clear, Lamasa is over Lamasa. The Matthias is as lekitchila verlockt man sich, wenn der Goy tun it's in the fire, wenn jeder tun it's in the fire. wenn der Goy hat ungezündet der Feier, in der Jid macht das Fächer, wird man sich auch bei Poel verlassen. Ob es so gewollt, Triller sucht man, Triller lass nicht, lass die Jid uns in der Feier, aber Triller, Thomas der Goy, hat ungezündet der Feier, in der Jid hat es gemacht, Hecher, la Masse, will man in sich verlassen, auch durch dem, weil again, der muss aufgesoffen, wenn man es nützen, beschaß, überfragt, wer es in weißes Ruhe. Kemiven, als wenn der Goy geht hier alles, in der Jid hat gemischt, ist sicher, dass man verlässt sich auf der Ruhe. Weil das ist eine Klurigkeit. Und das ist der Mechaber auch Masken sein. Der Mechaber hat auch Masken sein in such a case, als der Goy gemacht beide, und jeder hat gemischt, ist so Ziege gegeben zu der Feier, es darf Ziege geben, es darf, has to give something, add on, we have to add on something to the Bischel, hat das angeht. Der Teresuf ist nicht zufrieden den ganzen mit dem Agaf. Der Teresuf Tanas, der muss manchmal, that anything when the Yid stirred the pot, then it's fine. Sucht auf dem Teresuf, as se mashpe von der Gemurre, only when, if not your stirring, wird sich das ganz nur gekocht. Sie darf da auf ihrer Pille. In der Gemurre mashpe nein. Der Mann ist gerade gemischt etwas in dem Top, ist es okay. But la Masse sucht auf dem, der Schach, als, wie bald sie wird herübergebringt, statt nicht in der Gemurre-Tag, aber sie wird herübergebringt in der Sefer, which is called Chilif Manugam, bei Menuge et Yisroel Bubel. It's a Sefer von der, ich meine von der Goyim. I'm not sure it's von Goyim, aber ich komme in Zeiten von der Schoinem, ist es sicher. And since over there, wird schon der Mann, als im Bubel hat man Michael gewähnt, mit der Schluches Kissim, bei Meile will tanan, als any Sache, was Yid tit, to the fire, Chochi the Kissim, what did he do? What did the Kissim add on to the cooking? So of course, Yid at Epis, Boise and Epis, Chochi, it would have been cooked without that Shluchas Kissim Ochet. After began, so the Shach is your Michael of them. So Hamad is the Terezuv is Machman, the Shach is me Michael. So therefore, we said before, in a case when a Yid made on the fire much more higher, then it's for sure that insgam is verlassen of them, but the Eved sicher. So an andere Werte bei der Eved ist nicht sicher, dass Tamar Ayid hat etwas getan, wenn man sich verlassen auf dem, ich frage, dass er bei sich ist. Fine. Du gibt noch in der Mechaber, and goes another step. Mechaber says like this. Im Ayid put on a fire, he put on a pot, on the fire. Ayid had rubbed like a pot on the fire. Then, he took it off. He put on the fire and then he said, no, I don't want to. In the middle of cooking, started cooking, took it off. Then the guy comes, takes the pot, put it back on the fire. Zug the Mechaber, we have to look. So again, the Yid started the cooking. He took it off. Then the guy said, why is this pot not on the fire? He goes, he puts it back on the fire. And now, who cooked it? The guy cooked it. What is the look? Zug the Mechaber, if the first time when the Yid put it on, it was cooked shlish b'shiloi, kamachel ben deresua, a third shlish b'shiloi, then we say it's already ki'ilisig ven gekocht, although machel ben deresua is not al-zay chag, but since it is already cooked kamachel ben deresua, then I am ready to consider it bishul Yisrael, and I don't care that the guy put it on again. If it didn't come to the machel ben deresua, which is shlish bishul, then it is an user. Also it's the Mechaber. Why? The kids said what it is. Since the shlish bishul is considered already bishul, is clearly cooked, so therefore, since that chaylik is wer gemacht der chaylik? Since the chaylik hat gemacht, the goy hat, das heißt anders so, wenn sie gewonnen gekocht, shlish bishul, since the Yid made it already, because again, what was the story? The Yid put it on, he took it off, then the goy put it on. But it was cooked already, shlish bishul. So the Mechaber, since shlish bishul is already cooked, I don't care, Chotschik the Mechaber is machmer, I've began das heißt schon gekocht, and then is es nicht kein problem. Tomer aber it wasn't cooked shlish bishul, so therefore, the Yid didn't cook it. Who cooked it? Who made the whole bishul? The guy, when he put it back in the fire, then he made the whole bishul, that's why it's user. Also, aber the Mechaber halt nicht davon. The Mechaber halt once, it is, when the Yid did a shlish bishul, that means it's okay. But if he didn't make a shlish bishul, so who makes basically the Nekida? Makes the Yid, the guy makes the whole bishul. The Yid started it, so the Mechaber, that's not enough.
So the question is,
Wenn man bald, we just keep it a minute.
but the fire is not a fire.
Selbe fire, aber der Mechaber verrat sich nicht auf der Fire allein.
No, but
Favus. The fire of what? The Mechaber haltech as fire, when a Yid puts on the fire, it's not enough. This is the Mechaber Shitte. Fire itself, and the Goy puts on the pot, it's helft nicht. Ins verlassen mit sich auf der Mu. Aber der Mechaber halt not. A Yid hat es ungezindert, a Yid put on the flames, what we do in all the restaurants. A Yid puts on the flame, the Goy cooks. The Mechaber halt es nicht geht. A Svardish one, I mentioned last week. A Svardish will not eat in such a case. The Frimmer. I can put him orders and machen, weil in Svardim give edition, sich do. Aber I can put him, a Frimmer, Svardi wird nicht essen. Because you put on the fire. Kinder Mechaber the Shitu soy, and a Tanat is gewäschlich Bischel, so then it's fine. Nicht gewäschlich Bischel, is it nicht geht. Not, this is when a Yid put it on, and he took it off, and the Goy puts it on. Dezelfde Sache wird auch gesagt, as the Goy itself took it off. A Yid put on a pot on the fire. And the Goy sees a pot on the fire, takes it off, and then he puts it back. Same halacha. If it was already shlish bishul beforehand, it says bishul Yisroel. If it's not shlish bishul, then it is nish bishul Yisroel, it's awesome. Why do I say shlish bishul? We know in Hilchot Shabbos, machen ben Resu haben in Samachroikes. Shlish bishul or chitze bishul. So the Achronim suchen auf Azai, wat sonst bishul akim is nur an Rebunan. Even such a case, the Mechaber, although Mechaber over there in Hilchot Shabbos holds that machen ben Resu is chutze bishul, since this is not an Rebunan, we rely, so hominins epis, we squeezed out, so to speak, epis akilif, the Mechaber ochen, as Bacha ben Resu is lish bishul akpur ma bishul akim. Fine, this is the loch. La maase aber, in der Tresuf passt nicht so. La maase aber kim der Bach, in sucht, mit darf schassen. Darf schassen. We could rely, we could be chotschig as etchen koch machen, so, kann ich kein Problem. Chotschig as the Bachs, nochmal, sie suchen als in der Mechaber, wenn sie suchen. Kim der Bach, und man darf macht man sagen, sucht die Schach, although the Bach swores, I don't agree, darf mit alles an, mit all this swores which it says, but la masse, for us, it's not Nagaya. Since the remove paskins, around off a kissing is okay, if you put in a match, wie morgen friert. Arauf leigen, wenn sich ein bisschen gekocht, aber vielleicht schon machen wir so. Hast du gegeben zu der Feier? Hast du gegeben zu der Bischel? Aber da ist kein Problem. Or if we go according to the Ramu, where the Ramu says even anything which he gave to the Bischel, it's enough. So the Yid basically put on the fire, and the Yid basically sagat achalik from the Bischel. Aber da nicht. Geht in Fasten, Schacht Fasten, as is okay. So let's apply it in our lives. Amul kippt man around in a hotel or a koch, and you see the Goy put on the fire, and the Goy basically start cooking it. It's the first thing you should do if you realize such a thing. And again, it happens constantly. Problem in Bishlakim because there are a lot of people who have maids at home, which they cook. The first thing you see such a thing, you should put on the fire or in a commercial kitchen, take off the pot and put it back. Ayid. So after showing, according to the Ramu, es ist Mesadr gewesen. A vieles sind gemacht geworden, a vieles sind gemacht mit der Resua, ist nur der Mechaber ist immer ein Problem, according to ins Ramu haben wir nicht kein Problem. So das ist ein wichtiger Luch zu gedenken, as anytime we have any suffix, who put on the fire, take off the pot, put it back. What?
When is it going to help to put it back on the fire?
Mit bald kommen. Mit Stammer, we'll get to it in a minute. Ja, aber noch kommen wir noch eine Minute. What? Ja, was da mit Samung kommt, was da mir, sie do in Samara Khashitas. Mit das nicht. Wir bald sehen, we'll get to that.
Turning on and off the fire.
Oh, so the same thing. Turning it off, turning it on, as the gerate wird Sache. The what?
It's an electric oven. It doesn't turn off right away.
Okay, es ist nachgekommen, aber es ist ausgelaufen. Mit Zad yet, the way how you're going to do it is going to, after 5 minutes, it's going to be cold. Dies ist ungezogen, was die ist gemacht, der Feier. Noch eine Luche, was eine wichtige Luche ist, steht Mechaber, whenever we have a suffolk bishlakim, is Michael. So after the Rabunan, is Imam Michael. The Mechaber gives a shiur. A Yid put on the fire, and a Yid put on the pot. And he went out. Went out, and you have a goy in the kitchen, the goy stays in the kitchen. Now, darf ich choishe sein, as the goy took it off, took it in, all the cheshushas took the mechaber, even though it's as it could be he did it. I mean, you're talking about you left for an hour. So you left for an hour, and you don't know what the goy did. Zug the mechaber, whenever you have a sufag is a sufag the rabunan, because Bishul Akim is a rabunan, imike Michael san. Fine.
We now live in Tchila.
Nine. Yeah. Now, you asked, what's the other way? The other way. What happened? The goy started doing it, and after the goy made Macha ben Resua, let's see the opposite scenario. Before we had the scenario that the Yid put it on the fire, it cooked Macha ben Resua. We say Macha ben Resua means cooked already, and therefore, even if the goy took it off and put it back, is this okay? What is verkehrt? The goy put on the fire, put on the fire, put on the pot of it, and sie geworden Macha ben Resua. Now the Yid chapt sich, takes it off and puts it back. Yeah? Zoekt of dem, the achroinam, this is the Resua with alle, do the Mechaber auch maskem zan. We don't say Macha ben Resua lechimra. We say Macha ben Resua lekilla, since before when the Yid started it, and it came a Macha ben Resua, and the goy finished the whole thing, we say since it was already cooked Macha ben Resua, it's enough, and therefore, chanish problem, it's okay. But to say that when the goy cooked it Macha ben Resua, and I added on, it should be, I made the sima bishul, azoi vat geit man nicht, and auf the Mechaber maskem zan, so therefore, even a Svardisher, which comes into a kitchen, and sees the goy put on the fire, and sees the goy basically put on the pot, and so she can Macha ben Resua. And then he takes it off, and puts it back, with the Mechaber auch maskem zan, as is gerate with the matzav. Because Macha ben Resua is when it's the killer, the shlechimra. The same will be also if a Yid will stir the pot. A Yid comes in, the goy made it to Macha ben Resua, and then the Yid goes and stirs the pot. Another Mechaber. Even the Mechaber masking zan, it's okay. I see she Macha ben Resua. Macha ben Resua is no the killer, and Macha ben Resua is nicht lechimra. So again, how many tafillah svardisher, the first thing when you come into a kitchen, you don't know what's going on, close the fire, take off the pot, just close the fire, and put it on again. That's the gerate with the zach. This is the best thing to do. Whenever you have a shala. Again, the shala macht sich sachmul, because according remember we mentioned there's a Pischut Shiva, which has a whole shaila if a person has a child, which is not from. Is du barayid bishul akem ayid a mumar. Is du a bishul akem or nicht. So some chronim say there's no bishul akem because the whole bishul akem is shishim chasnas. Yeah, you're going to marry with him. Is there any issue to chasnu mit somebody who's if he has an ehrliche daughter or have an ehrliche child? It's not an issue. So a lot of chronim won't say it's not a problem. Andere will not know since the Chazal Altrebe kann man ein bisschen machbar sein also since the Chazal aber weggestellt a klal as a mumar haraike akim, so it goes with the klolim of akim. So in akim is do a iser mishim chasnas. So we have this shaila constantly. When Rachmunas so Yidden haben a Schwester, a Bruder, oder a family member, was nicht für ihn, und er gekocht etwas. In such a case, darf man eigentlich denken, first thing, you come again, see she or he cooked something, close the fire, put it on. Is what? Fine, man kann das selbst anders. Aber hat der Diener, und du sagst, kasches die Geinien, also beschrieten. Reik Akim. This is a gezair of chassanas. It's nicht chesm in him. It's a gezair of chassanas. But weil bald hat a din von a goy, hat alle din von a goy. Wenn es mekadisch ist eine Sache, man redt nicht du. Man redt nicht du, sie hat mekadisch gewinnt, sie hat nicht. Man redt nicht du, sie hat die din von a goy. Es ist eine Gaia, scheiß ich genug?
Sie sagt, sehr ist schon chassanas, aber eigentlich sprach Kedushin.
Ja, aber nicht für Chassanas, immer Beile, weil ich umkomme, wo ist für Chassanas? Ich will nicht, dass wir sollen intermarriagen, so to speak. Ich will nicht, dass deine Kinder sollen werden nicht fremd. So, das, wenn ein Mimmer gemacht hat, Kedischen, alles feine Wohl. Aber wegen dem, ich habe das schon genommen, alle anderen Sachen, also hat, wenn ich suche mich im Kedischen, die Pschat, also wenn am Mimmer, makadisch gewähnt, darf ich gehen, Maget. Das meint mich im Kedischen. Also die Kedischen ist Chal. Aber es ist noch so, ist es vergassens. So, das, verstehst? Wo ist? Fein, du bist eine Chanama. Also, du darfst man zitieren. Ja. Nachher, wenn es haben wir Alucha. Wir retten eine heilige Alucha. Wo ist in Sachen, was zitieren, weiß immer. Und du steht mir. Emma's in Lamaise, by one of the a few years ago by Kinnis Shlichim, I gave a whole shir on this Nakida, in Tzarav, and the question, how can you be Mitzarav Mechalal Shabbos and to Minyan? I give him an aliyah, I got a ganze shir of the noisas, you know, se nicht so ele goy, se nur ze, se nur for dem, se nur for Tfil, se nur for gewisse Sachen. Emma's. Aber Akapunam, ich bringe nur aus der Nakida, als bei uns, sie kann sein, nach ein bisschen helfen, so kann nicht geschehen, aber es kann sein eine Gaie, die mir eine Sache pusht in Maas Mechal. So now, he brought up, mit Stamag View verloi. Now, so der Ruh im Beidige Beis, einer von der Schoinem, he says, Afille im Nisbashel kol Zorchoi. Afille Nisbashel, Yitzchak, geheerst, das ist dies Rog wegen der Schale. Mit Stamag View verloi. So der Ruh, Afille in Nisbashel beyad Goy. Im hadain its stomach vifoloi, it still becomes the stomach vifoloi. It's a nigma beyad Yisruel, is es okay. Also ich wart. Der Darke Tshiva bringt es herup. Bringt herup b'Sheva ma'im Chaim, der Ru'u, und also steht in der Ru'u. In Ravosner sucht, und man kann sich verlassen auf der Ru'u. Aber, es ist mizam mit stomach vifoloi. Es ist mizam, man sucht atschulend, wie es mit stomach vifoloi. Just, als es ugekocht, and when you put it for extra another few minutes, get es nicht zu viel. Sie misst da gesagt, als am machen, was man zusammen gewürfeloi, wird man sich gerne verlassen auf der Ruhe bei die Evet, kann man sich verlassen auf der Schittes der Ruhe, bis ins Pass, was über der Ruhe, geblieben, hat man sich gerne verlassen auf der Ruhe. Nein, der sucht der Klur. Der ist hat das nach Schale wegen Potatoes. I have potato which is cooked, and it cools. Keine ich als kalte Potatoes. No, Paisa was cider, auch nicht. So, Kapunem, so, ich habe es ungewaren. Whenever I warm it up, because ich kenne es erst kalt, a soup, ich kenne es erst kalt, so you warm him up, that doesn't take it out from me, like in the holidays. The swore from the Ru'u is, since this is a machel, but the machel itself wird mit stomach gefühlt. Atschonand was constantly it gets better and better. There are some foods which gets better. Such a case, and you can be shlakim. And I was can verlassen of them. Come even what?
Or just visual?
The what?
Does it apply to pass as well, or just visual?
Noch mal. A pass. I'm ugebacken. You make it only fresh.
If you toast the bagel.
No, it doesn't help. Klur. Doesn't help. No. The Juba super nicht gemacht haben. Nein. The Lutz darf da gesagt nur specific Sachen. Da was in was sagen, was man mit kann man sich verlassen auf Ruhe. Paar kann man sich verlassen. Paar bake gut. Because par bake the pshat befrat bas. But par bake the pshat it's not edible yet. It's edible that it's chak. You still need again the klulim in I think I mentioned it last week. The klulim in all the kashrus organizations is if it needs to be in oven, it has to be in oven 10 minutes and up. That means it's par baked in the kansas essen. If it doesn't need 10 minutes, that means it doesn't have to. For instance, now lately there was Aldi. There was bread which had a kufkei, and one of the Engelad over here asked me, "Could I eat it or not?" I said, "What does it say?" He says you should rewarm it for how do they say 5 to 7 minutes, or the 7 to 10 minutes. I have an issue, but let's wait. I went down to Aldi and I took the bread. They want you should be fresh. So the chabroid was 2-3 days old. It has a lifetime, not for 5 days. So he wants it to be fresh. Put it in the oven to 7 minutes. Rewarm it, but keep it fresh. Aber es ist nicht par baked. Schade, nicht par baked. Don't say par baked. Whenever it's par baked, you will need about 12 minutes. Par baked, can Michael as a But if it's not par baked, it's just Because anything when you refresh is geschmack, like you mentioned, mach peanuts. Yeah, you make toast. You know, I like it toast. This is apple, this is good. You know, I like it better. Dus nicht. In Zug der Ravose Klurdus. Only if it's a thing which is mustama you for them, you could rely on it. Okay, so now let's go further. In Mechaber steht, if a Yid put on a grill, you have a grill, which is the what is it called, the charcoal, is already, half dying. It's called Gechulam Oimamas. It's already, and if you put on a piece of steak, it's not gonna happen anything, So then, he gang a Yid, a gang a goy, and he took a fan or whatever, and it's a reawaken the fire. What? Revived. Zug de Mechaber Sizusa. Zug de Mechaber such case Sizusa. Das heißt, Bischel Akim is Sizusa. Zoekt ihm dem der Schach wieder. Kim der Schach kommt eigentlich zu der Remu. Der Remu doesn't talk about it. Zoekt ihm dem der Remu that according to the Remu, what the Remu says that even if such a case was what when is Bashel geworden, below see a goy, yeah. Even if such a case if the goy didn't do anything, it wouldn't get cooked. That means Tomer, you did something, but without the goy's pillar, the food wouldn't have get done. Zoekt der Remu is es auch geht. Zoekt of them the shach, but they do auch. Oh, what?
Completely cooked, without the good action.
The removes the vieles was schon gekocht. Geht us the goy gemacht a starke Sach. Zoekt aber der Remu, wenn bald jeder geht hier an Pille do, was get sie auch. Although as without the goy's Pille, it wouldn't have get cooked. Is es auch geht. Zoekt der shach, aber so is such a case. Safkasov, the fire is do. The fellow the goy is over revived, so they do fire. When I'm talking about if you have to put it on again. So they do fire, mine is with the shach as it's okay. But Lamas, the shach itself, will tanen, as nicht doimet, will sagen, it's like, loi gure lasrik, aber umkommen am nicht wegen pilot light. Tanet also die shach kann, sie doimet sie kissen. So auf shach rein ist ein Schmaske den ganzen des, oder? Will tanen es anders für kissen, verbus bei kissen, sof beschafft hier mehr fire. Als beschaffen mehr Feier. Jeder beschaffen mehr Feier. Du hat jeder nicht beschaffen. So the Schach allein is mistippig in the Kinder. Okay, so now, a few things which is the guy in the Lamasa, in our lives. What is, in this very popular today's day, that Mashgicham have a app, and by the app they put on the fire. A lot of caterers have this. The goyim coming in early, and the Yid basically what? Electric ovens. They have an app, and sie ziehen in den Oven. Is es okay oder nicht? Und es ist interessant, als kommt es von Kamat Allah Achroinim, it's not an issue. Since the Yid basically puts it on, it's not a tita pe'ila, he puts it on, durch Button. It's okay, it's fine. Nicht kein Problem. Huh? Zug, der Bechaber nicht, weil der Bechaber halt als uns in der Feier nicht genick. Ja, man hat doch aber als Fall wie Loder Mo, das ist ein Genick. Sucht aber, legen Sie jetzt hier ein Nine, and this is a very important Nine. It has to be an app which only you have access. If the goy, any goy in the shop, in the company, or the balabus could bypass your app, so what's up with the fin? Aber gut ist der Fin. If it's only you can open it, weiß ich, this gave in the fire, in such a case, it's a problem. So that's an app which puts on the oven. Then there's another thing which they do. The mashgiach, when he goes home at night, he puts on a timer, and he makes a timer tomorrow at 9 o'clock, the oven should go on. Over here, if this is okay or not. I would say, a lot of Gdoila Achroinim will say it's okay, which is Rav Osner, the Mechas Yitzchak, the B'Shloime Zalman, would hold it's okay. Because, who put on the fire? The Yid had gemacht, as the oven should get on. Aber du ist nur andere Achroinim, wo sie will tan an 9. So, when you put on the app, when you push the app, what happens? The oven right away gets on. Öffnet sich auf. The oven, die ist gemacht, die ist in der Oven. Over here, hast du gemacht a Grumme. Hast du gemacht a Pille, wo es morgen an der Seite geht sich sunzen. Und sehen wir nicht, dass er mir sagt, that Grumme should be okay for only a gruma so sagen geht for Bischel Israel. Who?
Wasn't a guy also?
Wasn't a goy, Emmas, aber es ist nicht kein Bischel Israel. Es ist nicht kein Bischel
Why
Israel.
is it different than when a guy did it with, Shalit Meskaben?
Because when the goy did what, Shalom Miskah?
It says on the previous year that the guy wanted to burn his grasshopper where he wanted to burn and it happened to make a fire.
Because er begann schon Dinge, weil sie gucken. So, nur Meile.
So why is
Then you say you could eat the grass.
Ja, weil es ist nicht kein Bischel, der goy hat nicht gekocht. Der goy hat nicht gekocht.
Over here, there you say you could eat the grasshopper. Here you say it's not Bischel Israel.
Du machst de goy alle Pilles. Du machst alles, du machst de goy alle Pilles. Ich will doch Michael sagen, weil da jeder tun jetzt in der Feier, so ich das falsch umgezogen. Ich will doch, du machst de goy alles. In Bekavuna hat sie kocht. Da frag mal Pilles in Israel, sie machen mit. Da Pilles das und aber la mas again. Ach mein as Dravos und der Mechisitzchog mit Psuyanke Fischer. Then we through alle zoeken als we kennen zich verlassen.
What if the guy puts it in before the timer turns on?
The what?
If he puts it in the oven before the timer turns on,
Okay.
then it's not Bischel.
Then there's a new patent which is called a bulb heating element, which the Starkey came up with it. Rav Heinemann came up with it. That you put it in the oven, you put in a small bulb, and this always is on. A Yid puts it on, and this stays on, so automatically gives, I think it's a 15 watt bulb, and therefore it's always on. The only one who relies on it is the star K. The OU, the OK, the Kuf K, nobody relies on it. So it comes out very interesting. Although when it comes to Chulav Yisrael, the star K is the only one from the four which are Machmar, and usually whatever the star K, the regular star K, they have a separate symbol, a new symbol. Now they started giving also a non-Chulav Yisrael, and it's a star K, a different star K. But the regular, what? Star D. Yeah, star D. Star D is Chulav Akim. But anything which is a regular star K is Chulav Yisrael. But when it comes to Bischel, we have a problem. Weil sei, verlassen sich, noch einmal, kemiffen, sie müssen die Klulen für Bischel Akim. Weil es ist noch Malucham, Nechachai, aber Thomas, sie kehrt ran, die Klulen, is haben wir in so issue mit der What? Es ist an einer Segunisch. Es geht Gunisch. Sie, Keisem, du, jetzt kommen Sie in der Pilot Line. Keisem habe ich zugegeben, ob Sie der Feier. Du aber gebe ich Gunisch Sie. Der Leib ist halb, aber er geht Gunisch raus. Ich kann Gunisch Sie. Sie ist hart. Sie geht nicht in der Feier. Scheiße ich so? A match, wenn ich war voran a match, it comes extra fire?
For 1 second.
No, it becomes part of the fire.
Depends how big your fire is.
I don't care, it's because it is. Ich hab moisig in the fire. Ich hab moisig am Metzies, ich hab moisig in the fire. Du aber gut nicht moisig.
What is an electric
So,
oven?
no Meile.
You're adding more electricity? The same thing?
Electricity.
The element?
Not cooking with the fire, cooking with the heat.
What?
Not cooking with the fire, cooking with the heat.
I cooking with the heat, aber der heat get me gut nicht. The heat get me gut nicht ziehen. Das ist the heat, so look at the heat get me gut nicht ziehen.
Match and heat.
The match habe ich like fire, so ich habung in a fire. What is there's a big wood and ich habung in a match. Alle fire ist heilig für mir. Ich bin heilig.
I know my wife.
Now it comes to the pilot light. Now when it comes to what?
And her dough to wrong. Whatever it rides better with the light in the oven.
It's not on just the.
No, it's not the line. No, it's not on.
Okay, so it's not baking. It gives out some kind of energy.
It does give heat. Yeah.
Get some heat. Okay. Aber get me gut nicht zusammen.
They can't bake it, but
You can't-
and it was the element, part of the element, part of the
Elements have anders.
the element.
No, the element gets in the fire. The element is a heilig in the fire. The light bulb, nochmal, the starke will tanen an, etwas geht up, see heat. Aber der andere tanen, ich hab gut nicht dafür.
Where's the
In
line?
the-
Where's considered not getting heat?
What does it mean?
How much heat is needed to consider getting heat?
Sie darf etwas zugeben zu der Hartmaß von der Ofen. Geht mir gut nicht ziehen. Der Ofen muss sich ziehen nur 400 Degrees. Geht nicht schwer, hat gut nicht gescheicht mit der Bulb. Es darf sich uns in der Fire auf der Rost geben mit 400 Degrees. Sie geht, als ich habe, lass mal fragen eine Schale. Ja? Als jeder hat angelegt, a heiße Top in a Ofen. Ja? Heiße Top in the oven. He put it in the oven, hot bowl of soup. And then he puts in a machel, and the guy puts on the food, and the guy puts on, was is Bischel Yisroel? was sie dort gewinnen, auf Top, was hat rausgegeben Heat. Das ist keine Schunge, so sag.
You see, if the light bulb will be hotter, then it'll be good enough.
Der Lightbulb darf mir etwas zugeben, in der Maß ha-Bischel, in der Maß ha-Baking, der Maß, was geht mir. Geht mir gut nicht zieh. Ist keili lehoyu. Geht raus etwas Heat. Jeder Lightbulb geht raus etwas Heat. Ich habe etwas davon, ich suche, das ist ein Bischel.
How hot does it need to be?
Ist ob du hast ein Match, ist ein Match, hat sie gegeben in der Fire. So hat sie gegeben der Eich. In der Peile, als der Peile ist ein Bischel ist Fire, hat sie gegeben der Eich. Der geht mir gut nicht zieh. Es ist nicht schmal, weil er ist ein Bulb oder nicht Bulb.
If it's more warm, it's hotter, then it'll be fine.
If it's more what?
It's a hotter light bulb, then it'll be fine.
Can I oft in a Peile in the baking? I don't think so. I don't.
You obviously work harder if it doesn't have anything else. Obviously it helps.
The water will be harder. Here. Okay, so now let's just finish. When the kids go into eine kide is legabe the pilots. Legabe the pilots. Now, the Moshe will tanen, the Moshe feinste will tanen in this Moshe that the pilot lights, there's two pilot lights. There is a pilot light, and du hast die Zicke mit den Kids, was wir jetzt gerät, mit der Bulb. Der Moshe sagt das so, ins verlassen wir sich nicht auf der pilot light, gleich Trille. Aber, whenever du a Bubu, geht umgezogen, in der Kocht, im Chapzach, is in the commercial kitchens, wird man sich verlassen auf der pilot light. Why? Because in the pilot light is, let's go 1 minute früher. We mentioned that the Remu sucht, auf was der Remu sucht, Alucha, ob das ungezogen Eich mit Yisroel, it's enough. Suchen nach Reuren, we don't rely on it. Und ich habe es gemenschen vor Geschirr, ich habe es gemenschen für Sachen Menschen, was haben AIDS, but Mokum teurig, they have a lady which is in a wheelchair, and she has an AIDS, and she's cooking in the house. What do you know? You need to do? Aber gesagt, you put, maybe, ich habe es gemenschen last week, you buy a Yurtzadlecht, you put a 7-day Yurtzadlecht, so it burns for 7 days. You tell for the goiter, whatever you need to put on a fire, you take fire from this lecht. They said the Yidung, it's in this fire, you take it from that. Chanish Kabreire, sie bebeißt das Ruhl, Eich ma Eich, sofort der Remo, ich kann sich verlassen auf diese Sache. Kinder Moshe in a sucht, that when it comes to a pilot light, depends what kind of pilot light. So to do pilot lights, which the pilot is not close to the fire. So therefore, or even if it's close, it's a very tiny pilot light. It's a tiny flame. Tiny flame, although it's not ungezogen in the große fire, aber geht man gut nicht see. Bei meiner sucht der Moshe, das heißt, Eich mit doch Eich. Eich mit doch Eich, und es nicht geht sein. Tomer aber, in the commercial kitchen, which I checked over here, gerade do, and the first thing which I had brought on someone should come. The first thing, he took a screwdriver and then pushed in the pilot light. You could make smaller and bigger. He put the pilot light all the way to the end. The pilot should always be on the maximum. Sucht auf dem Moshe, as a fall, is es nicht so wie Eich ma Eich. As a fall is a kissel. Well, what's the concept of the kissel? Kissel with the pshat, in their fire, which it burns now, ich hab sie gegeben. A heilig für the fire is my fire. Ich gebe es sie. Es ist Taka underneath, aber the fire was brennt, my fire gets sie, because it's close. It's a fire. But my let it so, sagt der Masha ein kein aber, beschaß wenn es is nicht close, which the houses, not the commercial ones, which the hand is hand electric. But I could put him amuli given a pilot light, which it wasn't too close. It gonna she came to the fire. It only, so to speak, so only in the stove, but nav, so it didn't do anything more than that. So the Moshe Zafal is as Eich ma Eich, we don't rely on it. So du kimmst es strikt selber selber in the kid. Ich habe the pilot light. Ich darf aber etwas in the bakery. Sie man nicht genickt nur, als get raus heat. Du get raus fire. Eich ma Eich get raus. Aber ich darf, als der Eich von der Yisroel hat sie gegeben. Hat sama Moshes. Sagt der Moshe, whenever it is close to the fire, als Fall, habe ich der Remu, von Kissen, und man kann sich verlassen. And this is how you do. In commercial kitchens, when it comes to a bubu, which accident happens, the guy came in, and the meshgich wasn't there when he opened the fire, and he cooked, and now what do you do now? Wenn man mit Zarav sein, zu bebeißt Yisroel, Mit Zarav Zahn, there's a pilot light, in Zusammen, it's okay.
How can you say there's no age if that's where the whole fire comes from the pilot?
It comes from the pilot, no.
It comes from the pilot, so how can you say that there's no age?
That's what he's saying.
Ja, es gibt der pilot. Gekimmen, das heißt, Eish wie Misruhe. When a Yid puts on a Yurtzadlech, and a guy puts on a match from that, and puts on the fire. Der fire kommt doch durch von a Yiddische fire. Is es geht? What? No. Ich meine, der Mu sucht, dass geht, aber ins Verlassmich nicht auf der Mu. Der Allachroim sucht ins Verlassmich nicht auf der Mu. Es ist der Verlassmich Eish. No, beschaß al Chag. Wenn du hast kein Breire. But the regular, you're on reliant.
So you have to put the pilot on the highest.
Yeah, because I want that the pilot should give out. Ich will, als der Pilot so rum a Peile, als sein Groß. In my Meile, etwas geht es zu der Fire. Geht es ran in die Gate, für Eish, was noch mal? Bei Beis ist Ruhe mit anderen, mit Zerif, wenn ich mich verlassen auf dem. Verstehst du so?
Where's considered that's giving heat? Where's considered that's
When the pilot is right next to the fire, the fire is nicht habe sich umgezogen für jenem, ist a heilig für jener fire. My pilot is a heilig für jener fire.
a little smaller.
There is do a fire, is do a zweite fire, zwei extra fires. Man fire hat nur umgezogen jenem, aber nicht der heilig für jener fire.
Further.
Ja, so weiter weg. Nein, nicht klein und groß. The word is nunter or closer. Nicht, nein, I'm sorry. If somebody had this, I don't mean smaller flame or a bigger flame. I mean it, when it's a bigger flame, the fire automatically is bigger. Guy to connect us to the stove, to the fire from the dus. It's nicht weil es kleiner oder groß. Not more effects, noch mehr wie dem. Wird auch heilig von der fire. Statt die Tungen in der fire. Wenn es ist weiter weg, ist der fire hat sich umgezogen von der fire, aber einmal hat sich umgezogen, hat sich gescheichert. Dann ist kann man getun. Beschaß aber das umgezogen, the flame of the highest level, what happened? The fire gets big, and the fire is constantly, the small fire is connected with the big fire. You can check it. Go into a commercial kitchen, you're going to see. Once it's on the highest level, when you put on the stove, is it kili am machitten. Also a fall kann man Michael sein.
Not part of the big fire, but the pot is getting warmer from that flame. It's not good.
Dus gaat er aan de pijler. Doe maar de machloikes, ja, pijler het helft van de rappers. Ze gaat dat zien. Dus de schale. De wat?
The stove never gets hot. The pot gets hot. So is it?
Who? Yes, a Yid puts it on, huh?
If it puts it on, that makes it hot.
Production, what type of fire? Turn on electricity. No heat. When you put a pot down, it makes the pot get hot.
The pot actually gets hot.
So I'm going to put down the pot.
So what's the
The pot being put down, that's the action that makes it hot.
The goy makes the hot.
What is it?
Ja, aber wenn nicht der Yid, wenn nicht die Yid in der fire, what's the Yid getan? He puts electric.
Like he said, he's putting gas on a wood.
But he's not
There's
lighting
no fire there. No heat.
Can't on them, it's a problem. Oi, es ist, also wie, es ist weniger wie ein Timer. Timer in dem Schaft, man peile Zint und der Ofen. Zint und bepoil der Ofen. Du, wer Zint ist so, der Goy mit darauf lang in den Pat. Kein Sagen, ist da nicht halt. So, der hat seine Problem für mich lachen. So darf jetzt in the pot or take it off and put it back. Again. Induction oven.